We previously mentioned a cautious script murder game. Today, version 2.0 has arrived, shared by a netizen. He is the owner of a script murder game shop and also serves as a Dungeon Master DM, the game's host. Last year, his shop launched the 2.0 version. This netizen encountered some strange occurrences. His handcar, which may refer to some kind of transportation or equipment, had a problem. The vehicle was used by veteran players, so almost all the passengers were acquaintances. It was raining that day, and the players on the handcar dispersed. At this time, one of the players, Qiangzi, called the owner and said he had a problem. He said his community was very large, and he had been walking for a long time but couldn't find his way home, even though he had lived there for more than 20 years. The owner told him not to joke around and to go home quickly. But Qiangzi insisted that they could have a video call, and the video was continuous. The owner asked Qiangzi which building he lived in, and Qiangzi replied it was building 17. Then the owner asked Qiangzi to turn the camera around, and he found something was wrong. It was past 1 a.m. and the whole community should have been pitch dark, but in Qiangzi's video, many houses had their lights on. The owner, a materialist, asked Qiangzi which building he was in. Qiangzi said building 9, while the owner was in building 5. The owner found building 5 by following building 9. Through the video, the owner confirmed that they were both under a unit building of building 9, but he didn't see anyone at all. At this point, the owner opened the location sharing again, but this time the location sharing showed that their positions did not overlap. With no other choice, they made another video call, and the owner asked Qiangzi to search online for what to do in such a situation. In fact, the owner already had some guesses in his mind, but he didn't say it out loud. A few minutes after hanging up the video, Qiangzi called to say he was going downstairs and then drove immediately. The two finally met, but not believing in the supernatural, the owner opened the location sharing again, and this time the 2 points overlapped, indicating that the phone was not the problem. They didn't know what had happened before, but since Qiangzi had returned home, they let him go upstairs. As a result, they never saw Qiangzi again for more than a month. Later, they learned that Qiangzi had some mental disorders since that night. His family went to a wizard named Harry Potter, who said that he had lost 3 lamps of his 3 souls and 7 spirits, and 2 lamps had been extinguished. That month, Qiangzi experienced weightlessness every night in his dreams, then stepping on air, and then waking up. After Harry Potter performed some rituals, Qiangzi no longer felt unwell and did not have those dreams. They initially thought this matter was over, but later the owner received a call from an employee saying that there were some abnormalities in the shop. It turned out that there was a search room in the shop, which was a special scene they needed for the script murder game. The employee said there were sounds in the search room. The owner explained to the employee that it was the sound from the chimney of the hotel kitchen next door, and it was normal to have sounds. But a few days later, a horror script murder game started in the shop. The NPC non-player character needed to hide in the search room. That day, the lights in the search room were sound controlled, but the NPC did not make any sound, and the lights started to flicker. The owner thought the light module was broken and changed it to an infrared detection module the next day, which would flicker only when someone passed by. However, a few days later, the employees said the lights were broken again because they flickered even when no one passed by. Combining the previous events, coupled with the owner accidentally seeing the remaining video, he and the shareholders discussed and decided to invite Harry Potter to take a look. It was late in summer, so Harry Potter came around 10 p.m. that night. They specially gave the employees a day off that day, and only 2 shareholders and Harry Potter were waiting in the room next to the search room. Nothing happened until after 12 o'clock. Then a shareholder suggested that if there were no abnormalities, they would go back. But when he got up to close the door, they heard the laughter of children and the sound of marbles falling to the ground, which scared the three people quite a bit. Harry Potter told them not to be afraid, to turn off the lights, and wait for him on the first floor. After arriving on the first floor, the three people shakily turned on the surveillance to see how Harry Potter was operating. Because their surveillance had night vision, they could see Harry Potter holding a kitchen knife, going into the search room, and chopping some decorations. In the end, this matter was over. What does this story tell us? First, even a horror script murder game should be carried out cautiously. Second, when things happen, you should be brave. Don't shrink back because of fear. Well, let's see you in the next story.